Top Shelf.
Hello and welcome to Top Shelf Board Games. I'm Hubba, and today we're going to learn how to play Millennium Blades. Millennium Blades recreates the experience of buying booster packs, building collections, and building decks and going to tournaments and playing them against your friends. Let's go to the table and learn how to play. Alright, Millennium Blades is played over 3 rounds, and each round is made up of a deck building phase and a tournament phase. The deck building phase, everybody will receive $30. Also, 6 cards from the top of the store deck. You flip over the top card of the metagame type. You'll fill the store deck with all of the cards. Each card is put face down. You'll set a 7-minute timer and you'll begin playing. Each deck building phase is made up of a 7-minute round. You'll pause the game, you'll collect more cards, you'll flip over the new meta type, you'll set another 7-minute timer. You'll play that 7-minute round, and that'll be the last time that you'll be able to sell to the aftermarket. Then once that 7 minutes is up, you'll do one more round of 6 minutes, and at the end of the 6 minutes, you have to be completely finished with building your deck and building your collection and ready to go into the tournament phase. During the deck building phase, there's multiple actions that you can do, most of which are listed on your player board. The main thing you'll be trying to do is build your deck. Your deck is going to consist of 8 single cards, 1 deck box, and up to 2 accessory cards can be included in your deck. You'll keep these cards in your deck area so you know that those are the ones you're going to use during the tournament. You'll also be working on building a collection. A collection has to have all of the cards match either the same element or the same type. Each card also has to have a different star rating. The more cards that you collect that match the same element or type and have different numbers, the more victory points you'll collect at the end of the deck building phase. Also on your turn, you'll have the option to be able to sell a card to the aftermarket. When you sell a card to the aftermarket, you'll choose one of your cards, place it in the aftermarket, place one of your sell tokens on there. You'll immediately collect money from the bank equal to the star rating. You can also buy a card from the aftermarket. When you purchase a card, you'll pay money equal to the star value. You'll return the sell marker to the player who that belongs to and take the card and put it into your binder, where you'll now be able to add it to either your deck area or to your collection. The other thing you can do on your turn is buy a booster pack from the store. You can buy one of the Facedown cards in the store, or you can buy the top card off the deck. The amount of money that each booster costs is up here in the top right corner. The next thing you can do is you can do card fusion. This allows you to take cards that you aren't using in your deck or your collection. You can turn them in to get a promo card. Either the bronze promo, you have to turn in 5 cards. The silver promo, you have to turn in 7 cards. Or the gold promo, you turn in 9 cards. You'll take those cards, you'll discard them from the game. You'll take one of your sell markers and put it on the deck that you're trying to fuse. You can only fuse if you have a sell marker to use. Also, you can only fuse from each deck once per deck building round. You'll take that card and now it can be used in either your deck or your collection. Likewise, when you sell to the aftermarket, you can only sell as if you have a sell token still in your possession. The next thing that you can do, you can always trade with your opponents. Trading in this game revolves around the star value. Trades always have to be equal. So if your opponent wants to give you an 8-star card, you have to give him a card that's either 8 stars as well, or a mix of cards and money equal to the amount of your opponent. So in this case, the 6-star rating and $2 would be an equal trade for this 8-star card. Likewise, if you feel like the trade is a little bit lopsided still, you can give a friendship card to him, and this will be worth victory points at the end of the game for your opponent, or for you if you collect a friendship card. Once the 6-minute round is done and the deck building phases come to an end, everybody will turn in their collections that they've built and collect the victory points. This will be written down on the score sheet for the round 1 collections. All cards that are not part of your collection or part of your deck that you're going to use in your tournament will be placed into your binder. These cards will be able to be used later or during the next deck building phase. All cards that are in the aftermarket and in the store area will be discarded from the game. The sell tokens will be returned to to you if you have any out there. Then you'll set up for the tournament. For the tournament, you'll flip over your player board, and this is what the backside will look. This is the tournament setup. We already have a tournament in progress. When you set up the tournament, you'll put your cubes on each of the 0 spaces. The object of the tournament is to gain the most ranking points by the end of the tournament. The first person to start the tournament will be whoever won the previous tournament, or if this is the first round of the game, whoever has most recently opened a booster pack will start the tournament. When you go to the tournament, you'll put your deck box in your deck box slot. You'll also put any accessories that you have out there. You'll take your singles that you have for your deck, and you'll choose one and place it on the leftmost open space. Cards will have multiple different abilities and different effects. We'll go over those at the end of the video. But know that when you play a card down, you always place it to the furthest left open space, and the card that is the furthest right, that's face up, is considered your top card. This will be used for clashing and other effects during the tournament. Once you've played your card and done any effects that activate, you are then able to do an action. Some cards will have actions on them. For instance, this Necromancer sword has an action. If I had played this down, I could then do this action, which allows me to clash with an opponent. The winner gains 10 ranking points. After I've done the action, I would flip that card over. Any cards that are face down lose all of their element and type symbols. They also lose all of their star rating. Essentially, that card becomes blank and doesn't score any points or doesn't contribute to the rest of the tournament. Also, actions can be played before you play a card down, but the only time you can use an action is if you are going to play a single that round. Either you've already played a single for that turn, or you are going to play a single that round. Then you can use an action. Play will then go to the person to your left and will continue around until everybody has passed in succession. Passing usually occurs when there's no more spaces on your tournament board. In this case, you wouldn't be able to play a single because there's no open space to place a card. Because you can't play a single, you also cannot activate any actions on your cards, so you would have to pass. Once everybody has passed in succession, the tournament ends. At the end of the tournament, you'll calculate any score effects on cards. Also, you'll calculate any score effects from your deck box. Then you'll calculate score effects from accessories that you have. Once everybody has completed their final scoring, players will be ranked based on the amount of ranking points that they have. In this case, we have 113 points. That would be recorded on the round 1 tournament ranking points. Then, based on the position that you're in, you'll gain victory points. Victory points is determined by which position you place. If you take first, you'd get 21 points. Second, you get 15, third, fourth, and so on. So the better you do in the tournament, the more victory points you'll get for winning that tournament. Once victory points and positions have been given out, players will collect promo cards based on the tournament. If it's the first tournament, everybody will receive a bronze promo card from the bronze deck that wasn't included in the game. Everybody will get one of these. If it's round 2 tournament, everybody will collect a silver promo. If it's the final round, nobody will collect any cards. If this was the final round of the game, we would move on to the Endgame Scoring. However, if it's not, you'll flip over your player board back to the deck building side, and you would start a new deck building round, collecting your $30, collecting your 6 cards, and setting your timer and getting the store set up. You would then start a new deck building phase and continue this until 3 rounds have been completed. Endgame victory points are calculated by totaling up your tournament points. You also calculate the victory points you collect from your collection. Likewise, you will collect 1 victory point for every $4 you have. You'll also collect victory points for any friendship cards that you've collected over the course of the game. And whoever has the most victory points will win the game. If there's a tie, whoever has the most points collected during tournament play will be the winner of the game. Let's go over various card effects that are in the game. Cards will have various effects that will activate based on the bold word that's on the card. If you see top, this refers that this effect will be active as long as this card is the top card during tournament play. Then this ability will happen. The flip, anytime that a card is flipped, you can activate the flip ability. You have score effects. These are computed at the end of a tournament round. We have the regular actions. When you activate the action, you do what it says, and then you'll flip the card over. You have reactions on there. A reaction activates when the condition is met. In this case, when you clash, gain +2 to that clash. Reactions, you don't have to activate the reaction if you don't want to. However, all of the other actions and other things on the card are mandatory. However, reaction, you get to choose if you activate it or not. You also have ongoing effects. As long as this card is in play, then this effect will be active. Likewise, you have play. When you put this card into your when you play this card into your tableau, you'll immediately activate the play effect. Some of the general rules: when you have to discard a card, you'll return that card to your player binder. When you have to reveal a card from your hand, you'll reveal that card, show it to everybody, and then put it back into your hand. If you have to reveal a face down card, you'll choose the card, flip it over, show it to everybody, then put it face down again. In general, when you have to flip a card, you'll flip a face up card face down. You will not choose a card that is face down and flip it face up unless the card specifically says to do so. Once a card's face down, it's face down. If a card says that it cannot be flipped, then there is nothing in the game that can make that card flip. The last thing to go over is clashing. When somebody activates an effect that starts a clash, if you are clashing with just a single person, the person must have a face-up top card. If you're clashing with multiple people, then everybody that is part of the clash must also have a face-up top card to participate. Once the players are chosen for the clash, each player will draw a card from the top of the store deck, starting with the one who initiated the clash. Everybody will flip over that card, add the star rating to the star rating of their top card, and whoever has the combined highest star rating will win the clash, gaining or losing any effects based on the clash that was started. Depending on the variants that you play with, players can also start with a player power. A player power will give you a special ability during the deck building phase. Also, when you're doing a tournament, each player will have a special power during the tournament phase. This is an optional rule that you can play with. However, I highly recommend it. You can also play with different arenas that change the effects of the game, and that is how you play Millennium Blades.